यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय हो यात माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय हो यात माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा शील प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा शील प्रभुपदा। जीवन विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक अष्टोत्तर सरस्वती श्रीमती स्वयं की शिष्य भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन संस्थापक आचार्य शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जीवन विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक अष्टोत्तर सरस्वती श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। जीवन विष्णुपाद लाहौर किशोरदास बाबू महाराज की जय। जीवन विष्णुपाद सत्यनारायण शील भक्तिवेदांत ठाकुरा की जय। जीवन विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबू महाराज की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास नाशक गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। नमोचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कोई कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत दादा शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोकुल श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड के गोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री गांधर्व गौरंगी बेंगलोर ईश्वर भगवान की जय। मायापुर धाम की जय। शिवदावन धाम की जय। गंगमई की जय। यमुनामई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। श्री हरनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। इस्कॉन वर्तमान गुरुवंद की जय। समावित भक्तवृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंद देव हरि हरि बोल। ऑल glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada की जय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Apatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtihi. Hare Krishna, welcome you all to Friday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are discussing from chapter Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 6, text 8 to text 23, because most of the slokas don't have purport or a very limited purport. Start from text number 8. Sayittama Suran Ajastutaihi Samanvidah Pitribbihi Saprajeshaihi Yayo Swadishyan Nilayam Puradvishaha Kailasham Adripravaram Priyam Prabhoho. Translation shall go forth. After this, instructing all the demigods, the Pitas, and the lords of the living entities, Lord Brahma took them with him and left for the abode of Lord Shiva, known as the Kailasha hill. The abode of Lord Shiva, which is known as Kailasha, is described in the 14 verses which follow. Text number 9. Janmaushadi tapod mantra yoga siddher nare taraihi jushtam kinnara gandharvair apsarobir vitam sada. The abode known as Kailasha is full of different herbs and vegetables, and it is sanctified by Vedic hymns and mystic yoga practice. Thus, the residents of that abode are demigods by birth and have all mystic powers. Besides them, there are other human beings who are known as Kinnaras and Gandharvas and are accompanied by their beautiful wives who are known as Apsaras or angels. Number 10. Nana Manimaye Shringair Nana Dhatu Vichitritaihi Nana Drumalata Gulmair Nana Mriga Ganavritaihi. Kailasha is full of mountains filled with all kinds of valuable jewels and minerals and surrounded by all varieties of valuable trees and plants. The top of the hill is nicely decorated by various types of deer. Text 11. Nana Malaprasar Ravanair Nana Kandara Sanubihi Ramanam Viharan Tinam Ramanai Siddhai Hoshitam. There are many waterfalls, and in the mountains there are many beautiful caves in which the very beautiful wives of the mystics are found. Text number 12. On Mayurakeka Birutam Madan Dhali Vimurchitam Pravitai Rakta Kantanham Kujitais Chapata Trinam. On Kailasha hill, there is always the rhythmical sound of the peacocks, sweet vibration and the bees humming. Cuckoos are always singing and other birds whisper among themselves. Text 13. Ahpayantam ivodashtair vijan kamad dugair trumai brajantam iva matangair pranantam iva nidharaihi. There are tall trees with straight branches that appear to call the sweet birds, and when herds of elephants pass through the hills, it appears that the Kailasha hill moves with them. When the waterfalls resound, it appears that Kailasha hill does so. Text 14-15. Mandare parijataischa sharalaischopa shobhitam tamalaishala talaischa kovidara sanarjunaihi judai kadambair nipaischa Nagapunnaga Champakaihi Pata La Shoka Bakulaihi Kundai Kura Bakair Api. The whole of Kailasha hill is decorated with various kinds of trees, of which the following names may be mentioned: Mandara, Parijata, Sharala, Tamala, Tala, Kovidara, Asana, Arjuna, Amra, Jati, that is mango, Kadamba, Duli Kadamba, Naga, Punnaga, Champaka, Patala, Ashoka, Bakula, Kunda, and Kurabaka. The entire hill is decorated with such trees which produce flowers with fragrant aromas. 16. Swarna Arnas Statapatraischa Vararenuka Jatibihi Kubjakair Mallika Bischa Madhavi Bischa Manditam. There are other trees which decorate the hills, such as golden lotus flower, the cinnamon tree, Malati, Kubja, Mallika, and Madhavi. Text 17. Panaso Dumbarashvatha Plaskat Nyagrodha Hingubihi Bhurjair Oshadibihi Pugai Raja Pugaischa Jambubihi. Kailasha hill is also decorated with such trees as cutter, jackfruit, julara, banyan trees, plakshas, yagrodhas, and trees producing asafoetida. Also, there are trees of betel nuts and burjapatra, as well as rajapuga, blackberries, and similar other trees. Text 18. Karjura mrta kamradyai priyala madukengudaihi dhumajju jatibir anyaisha rajitam venuki chakaihi. There are mango trees, Priyala, Maduka, Inguda. Besides these, there are other trees like thin bamboos, Kichaka, and varieties of other bamboo trees, all decorating the tract of Kailasha Hill. Text 19 to 20. Kumudo Palakahlara Shadapatra Vanartibihi Narinishu Kalam Kujar Kagabaran Bruno Pashobitam Murgai Shakam Murgai Krodher Murgendrier Riksha Salkya Guvaye Sharabair Vyagraih Rurubir Mahishadibihi. Translation of Pati. There are different kinds of lotus flowers such as Kumuda, Utpala, and Shatapatra. The forest appears to be a decorated garden, and the small lakes are full of various kinds of birds who whisper very sweetly. There are many kinds of other animals also, like deer, monkeys, boars, lions, rikshas, shalyakas, forest cows, forest asses, tigers, small deer, buffaloes, and many other animals who are fully enjoying their lives. Text 21. Karna Trai Kapadash Vasyair Nirjustam Mrgana Bibihi Kadali Kanda Samruddha Nalini Pulina Shriyam. There are varieties of deer such as Karnantra, Ekapada, Ashvasya, Brika, and Kasturi, the deer which bears musk. Besides the deer, there are many banana trees which decorate the small hillside lakes very nicely. Text 22. Paryashtam Nandaya Satyaha Snana Punya Tarodayaha Vilokya Bhutesh Girim Vibuda Vishmayam Yayuhu. Translation Silvapati. There is a small lake named Alakananda in which Sati used to take her bath, and that lake is especially auspicious. All the demigods, after seeing the specific beauty of Kailasha hill, were struck with wonder, and the great opulence to be found there. According to the commentary called Sri Bhagavata Chandra Chandrika, the water in which Sati used to bathe was Ganges water. In other words, the Ganges flowed through the Kailasha Parvata. There is every possibility of accepting such a statement because Ganges water also flows from the hair of Lord Shiva. Since Ganges water rests on the head of Lord Shiva and then flows to the other parts of the universe, it is quite possible that the water in which Sati bathed, which was certainly very nicely scented, was Ganges water. Last one, text 23. Dudurjush tatrate ramyam alakam nama vaipurim vanam saugandikam chapi yatra tannama pankajam. Translation Sherpa. Thus the demigod saw the wonderfully beautiful regions known as Alaka in the forest known as Saugandhika, which means full of fragrance. The forest is known as Saugandhika because of its abundance of lotus flowers. Sometimes Alaka is known as Alkapuri, which is also the name of the abode of Kuvera. Kuvera's abode, however, cannot be seen from Kailasha. Therefore, the region of Alaka referred to here is different from the Alkapuri of Kuvera. According to Veeraraghava Acharya, Alaka means uncommonly beautiful. In the region of Alaka, the demigods saw there is a type of lotus flower known as Sagandhika that distributes an especially fragrant scent. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Siddhavadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadgrajatam Savanargunathanvidam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Savanarita Vikshakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishubhaniste Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Vashnudubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Guru Paramananda Shri Chaitanya Mishra. Hare Krishna. So, to connect to the previous verses, we see that when Lord Shiva created a black demon who was very fearful and who created a lot of havoc, and he killed Daksha. So Brahma he saw that this demon was very, very angry and he could not be controlled. So Brahma, along with all the other demigods, went to the abode of Lord Shiva. So that is how they normally, that is a protocol they observe. Whenever there is trouble anywhere, the living entities approach the demigods. In fact, most of all the residents in the heavenly planets are demigods by nature. They all approach Lord Brahma, then Lord Brahma, along with all of them, they approach Lord Vishnu. But here, because the main personality is Lord Shiva, they went to the abode of Lord Shiva. So this is how they maintain the protocol. The next one, onwards, it describes how when they went to the abode of Lord Shiva, which is called Kailasha, it is full of so many different herbs and vegetables and nice fragrant flowers, etc. And they're all sanctified by Vedic hymns and mystic yoga practice. So there, generally in this heavenly abode, there is no discussion of Gramya Katha. It's all recitation of Vedic hymns and discussion on Vedic subject matters. So that is how all the heavenly planets are always glorified with these hymns and also mystic yoga practice. By birth, they are all demigods and they all have mystic powers. The residents also have some of them known as Gandharvas and Kinnaras. These are the Gandharvas are basically the musicians in the upper planetary systems. Though they are not exactly demigods, they are someone between the human beings and the demigods. And they are accompanied their beautiful wives who are known as Apsaras or angels. So the abode, besides that, there is some more classification like Kinnaras, etc. The Apsaras are basically the dancing girls, which is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 4th canto. In the upper planetary systems, we have dancing girls in the earthly planet also. So like that, there are Apsaras in the upper planetary systems, and they are all very, very beautiful to look at. And they are accompanied by the Gandharvas. So Mount Kailasha is actually full of beautiful trees, plants, canes, mountains, inhabited by animals, beautiful animals and birds. And they are also, all the trees have a lot of good fragrance. We'll come to this a little later. Of course, in a place like that, which is very beautiful, and the ambience is also very, very nice. The peacocks make a lot of nice, beautiful sound vibrations. The bees keep humming, the cuckoos keep singing, and the other birds also whisper amongst themselves. This is basically due to the nice atmosphere that is there in the heavenly planets. Then there are, of course, beautiful, nice waterfalls where the water is very, very clear and no dirt seen in those heavenly planets. And the entire Kailasha mountain is decorated with trees that produce flowers with a lot of nice fragrant aromas. So some descriptions are given about some of the plants. Now, all of them are basically pious plants. Now, when we say pious, there are pious trees like even earthly planet, we see Parijata. Parijata is very dear to Lord Krishna. Jasmine, which give a lot of nice fragrance. And then there are those which are impious, like the cactus, which don't give flowers and fruits, but it has got a lot of thorns. Now, these types of fruits and these types of trees and plants are never used for festivals or important occasions. But on the other hand, we see that in festivals we use banana leaves, plantain leaves, etc. They are all considered as pious trees and plants. Of course, there are some beautiful, nice lotus flowers in different colors. Here, there's one of the slokas that mention of golden lotus flower, then Malati, Kubja, Mallika, which we all know, So Kailasha Hill also is decorated with nice, beautiful fruit trees such as jackfruit, banyan trees, and trees producing asafoetida, what we call as LG. And there are trees of betel nuts and burjapatra, and blackberries and similar other trees. Then there are mango trees, and these mango trees are of many varieties. Like here itself in India, we find mangoes of many kinds, of which the one from Ratnagiri, which is known as Alfonso, is very popular. So similarly, among the trees and plants, there are those that give very nice sweet fruits and flowers. They are called pious. And among the trees and plants, there are some which produce bitter fruits and bitter and flowers that are not attractive, are not offered to worship to the demigods or Lord Krishna himself. So that is how there is a classification even amongst the lower species of life between pious and impious living entities. Then, of course, there are different types of flowers which look very beautiful. The lakes are filled with birds who whisper very nicely. Then there are animals in deer, monkeys, etc. In deer, there are many different classifications of deer who are all free. And if you see in a forest, even in India, generally these animals are in anxiety because they are always on, it's said in Shastra, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. The bigger ones hunt for the smaller ones, so they're always under fear. But here there's mention as to how in Kailasha all the animals and birds were also enjoying their lives. Then there is a mention about this deer called Kasturi. And this is a deer which has got musk in its body. And we see that here also. And that musk is very expensive. But then the fragrance of this Kasturi is so much that it's spread to a very vast area. And it is a very rare deer that is seen. Then in the 22nd sloka, there's a mention of how there's a lake called Alakananda, in which goddess Sati used to take her bath, and it is a very auspicious lake. So all the demigods, after seeing the beauty of the Kailasha, they're all struck with wonder at the great opulence. Now, this Kailasha Parvat mountain, it is said that Ganges water flows through the Kailasha mountain. Now, as we all know, Srimad Bhagavatam mentions how Ganges, when it came to the earthly planet, it came with a very high pressure due to the hole that was pierced through by Lord Vamadev. And then when it came with such a high pressure, it was so much that nobody could take that pressure, only Lord Shiva could take it. And he, with the help of his hairs on his head, he reduced the pressure of the Ganges water, and that's how it came down to the earthly planet. And it, of course, from there it went to all over the universe. So it is mentioned that Sati used to bathe in this particular Alakananda river, which is known as Ganges also. So we see that all these opulences, even in this earthly planet, we see, even in a country like India, we see people go to very beautiful places like Kashmir. Then there are mountains like there, Darjeeling, etc. These places look very attractive because they're all full of greenery, less of disturbance as we see in the city places. So people would like to go to these places, and they see them to be very nice, beautiful, surrounded by beautiful atmosphere. So the whole creation, if you see, is made in such a way that there are attractive and beautiful places everywhere with fragrance all around. Now, even in the earthly planet, we see there are 14 planetary systems, like Om, we say Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Jana, Tapahas, Satya, and so forth. The lifespan in each of the higher planet is higher than the previous one. And the opulence also in each of these planets is much higher. And this planet, which is called Bhuloka, consisting of the 14 planetary systems, earthly planet, 14 planetary systems, is the lowest. Above this is called what is called Mount Kailash, and after Shiva Loka or Mount Kailash, where Lord Shiva resides. Above that are the Vaikuntha planets. In the innumerable Vaikuntha planets, in like Ayodhya and so forth, Lord has got many forms, and in each and every form, there's a presiding planet in the Vaikuntha planets. And the topmost of all the Vaikuntha planets is what is called Goloka Vrindavana, where Lord Krishna resides. And we see here in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma himself prays, Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha, Chaeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vivarti Durga, Ichchani Rupam Yasya Chechestate Sa, Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I mean, the world in which Brahma takes his stand and hymns, the topmost is Lord is Goloka, and below that, and where we are staying, is what is called Devi Dham. It consists of the 14 worlds, and Goddess Durga is the presiding deity. She is 10-armed, representing the tenfold fruitive activities. So she rides on a lion, representing her heroic prowess. Above this is what is called the Mount Kailash. And it is said that the opulence of a higher planetary system is about 1,000,000 times higher than the previous planets. That means above Earth, whatever planet is there, Bhuvar, above Bhuvar is Swar. So above the earthly planet, Bhuvar is there. That opulence in that Bhuvar's planet is 1,000,000 times higher than the Bhu planet. Similarly, as we go higher and higher in this 14 planetary system, Satyaloka, where Lord Brahma resides, the opulence is the highest in this earthly planet. And so forth. After the Devi Dham, where we are all staying, comes Mahesh Dham or Mount Kailash. And the opulence in that Mount Kailash is 1,000,000 times than what is there in Devi Dham. So this is how the creation has been very nicely made. So people go to these places. Of course, we can't travel, but people in this earthly planet try to go to foreign countries like Switzerland and Sweden, etc., to see and appreciate the greenery and beauty, etc. So above Kailash are the Vaikuntha planets. And the opulence in these Vaikuntha planets is supposed to be 1,000,000 times more than the planets in the Earth, Devi Dham, more than the Mount Kailash also. So Brahma and all the demigods are seeing the beauty and admiring the opulence of this planetary system. And the Vaikuntha planets are much more beautiful and much more opulent than the Mount Kailash. So the one major difference between all the heavenly planets and the Vaikuntha planets, heavenly planets are subject to destruction and creation, whereas the Vaikuntha planets, there is no creation and there is no annihilation also. And in the case of the Vaikuntha planets, Lord Brahma prays Riya Kanta Kanta Paramapurusha Kalpatarvo Dhruvam Vibhuvi Chintamani Ganamai Toyam Amritam Kata Ganam Natyam Gamanamapi Vamsi Priya Saki. That means he says that I worship the transcendent seed known as Sveta Deepa, where as loving consorts, the Lakshmis in their unalloyed spiritual essence practice the service to the Supreme Lord. That means there are hundreds and millions of Lakshmis who are busy engaged in the service of Lord Krishna. Where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, every tree is a desire tree. The soil is the purpose gem. The soil looks like gems, beautiful gems. The water is nothing but nectar. And every word is a song. People don't speak any Gramya Katha. So that is why it is said that every word that they speak is like a song. And every move of their steps is like a dance. And the flute is a favorite attendant. And of course, the effulgence is so very beautiful and opulent, etc. And there are numberless milk cows that emit transcendental oceans of milk. And these are all eternal. They can go on continuously. There is no creation and annihilation. They don't have a past, present, and future. So it is said that this Goloka, which is the topmost, is open only to some very few self-realized souls in this world who have reached the highest stage of self-realization. And one thing is that all these opulent places are visited by pure devotees of the Lord, and by their visit, these places become opulent, and they all become purified also. Of course, there is no question of impurification in the Vaikuntha planets, but all the planets in the heavenly planets, there may not be any impurity, but they are all subject to annihilation and destruction. Even King Indra, who is supposed to be the king of heaven, is always fearful if he sees somebody who is performing a lot of tapasya, because he feels that if somebody is performing a tapasya, then that person will definitely try to occupy the post of Indra. So he also is always fearful of holding his position. That is the situation in the entire material creation. So Ganges river is considered a very auspicious river because it is touched by the dosh of the Lord as Vamanadev. Similarly, we recite Ganga, Yamuna, Godavari, Saraswati. So all these holy rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, they are all holy rivers, and one who takes bath in these holy rivers, they become purified of all the contamination, of all the contamination that they have. So in the last text, that is text number 23, there is mention of how these demigods, when they went to Mount Kailash, they saw a lot of beautiful lotus flower. Lotus flower is supposed to be very, very beautiful, as also it has got a lot of attractive fragrance. So I will touch a little bit on the importance of fragrance. And these are called Saugandhika lotus because it distributes a very fragrant smell all around. Now we see here itself how even the earthly planet, the lotus is very, very, look very beautiful, and the fragrance is also very, very nice. So of which this Saugandhika is very popular, which is not here, but it is there in the heavenly planets. So there is a mention that this fragrance is something which is one of the very, very vital aspects of all the living entities. Now, the lotus flower is so fragrant, it is said that the bees surround these lotus flowers. And because of the nectar that is there in the lotus. And what happens is that fragrance that is there in the lotus is so attractive to the bees that bees enter into the lotus during the daytime. And at the end of the day, the lotus petals which open out, they close themselves at the end of the day. But the bees are so attracted to sucking that nectar from the lotus that they are not aware of that the petals are going to close down and their life comes to an end. But the fragrance of the lotus is described as so much attractive that the bees are not worried about that, but they are so much engrossed in tasting the nectar inside that lotus. So that is how fragrance is very, very important in all, of course, in all the living entities, but particularly bees are mentioned because bees go after, if you see bee, they have their beehive, bees go after honey. Honey also has got a fragrance. So similarly, the Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita that I am the fragrance of the earth. So we normally describe Vedic mantras like Padmagandha and all these things. That means all the fragrant smell that comes out or we see on a day-to-day basis, even here, they all emanate from Lord Krishna only. And in fact, it is said that Lord Krishna himself identifies himself with aguru and sandalwood. Of course, the aguru and sandalwood that we see here itself, they are very rare to get the beautiful original ones. But what is there in the heavenly planets and what is much, much far superior than what is there in the earthly planet, and what is there in Mount Kailash is a million times much far superior than what we see in the heavenly planets also. That is how the description goes. In fact, in the beginning of the class, I mentioned about the Parijata tree. Of course, here we see some rare occasions, some places I've seen myself Parijata tree. They give very nice flowers. But the only thing is that what happens to this Parijata tree that I've seen here is that the moment the flower falls down, it is got a lot of fragrance and it is very dear to Lord Krishna. But the moment it falls down, the flower starts withering. As long as they are in the tree, they are attractive to look at. But the moment they fall down, they lose their what do you call opulence. So the Parijata tree, which originally is there in the spiritual world, cannot be seen here in this material world. So the point is that even in lotus, it is said there are different colors of lotus flowers, and Krishna has got. It is said that Krishna's body smells like a beautiful blue lotus flower and kasturi. This kasturi is what I mentioned at the beginning of the class as musk, which is very rare even in the earthly planet, and it is coming from a deer called kasturi. And Krishna has got 8 lotuses on his body, and Krishna's feet smell like camphor, which keeps all the living entities very, very cool. So these are the descriptions of some of the vital aspects. Now Gandha means a fragrant smell. And one of the names of Srimati Radharani is Gandharvika, means the smell of Srimati Radharani. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a mention in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, how when Krishna killed Putana, Putana actually came to kill Krishna by anointing her breast with poison. So she thought that she will feed Krishna with milk, and in the process, Krishna will suck the poison and Krishna will die. But it so happened, Krishna sucked her life air in the process of sucking her breast, and she left her body. And then all the Brajavasis, they gathered around. In fact, they said that her body was expanded as good as about 18 miles or so forth. But all the Vrajavasis burnt her body. But when her body was burning, it is said that it was very, very fragrant. The reason was that she came in touch with Krishna. So we can understand from this how Krishna is so fragrant in his body that just by when Putana came in touch with Krishna, even when her body was dead, actually, if we see in our case, we might try to artificially put a lot of fragrances in our body. And the moment we leave the body, it starts deteriorating to such an extent that it gives a lot of fungus smell. So, whereas in the case of Putana, just because she came in touch with Krishna for a short moment of time, even when her body was burning, it gave a lot of fragrance because she came in touch with Krishna. There is also a mention that Srimati Radharani, whom we call her as Gandharvika, she comes to Kusum Sarovar and makes a lot of nice flower garlands, and she gives it to Vrindavaneshwari. Vrindavaneshwari is none other than an expansion of Srimati Radharani. She gives it to Vrindavaneshwari, who then gives it to Krishna to wear it. And when Krishna puts on these garlands, he smells so much of a sweet fragrance that literally he's smelling Srimati Radharani's lotus hand. So that is how Krishna gets captivated by Radharani's hand's fragrance by putting on that garland, which is mentioned in the Shastras as is actually a Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna. So the point is that the fragrance is something as we go higher and higher, higher planetary systems, the fragrance is higher and higher, which captivates the living entities in these planetary systems. There is also a description between Gautama Rishi and Amrish Maharaj in one of the Puranas, where Amrish Maharaj actually, Gautama Rishi asked, what is the effect of offering incense to the Lord? To which Amrish Maharaj replies that if one just smells the incense, I mean, we offer incense to the Lord. So he says that if one just smells an incense that is offered to Krishna, it gives a piety of going to millions of pilgrimages. See, we have difficulty in going to one place of pilgrimage. Some might go twice a year, or some might go maximum three times a year. Millions of pilgrimages is something that one might have to do in many births. But if one smells an incense that is offered to Lord Krishna, it gives a piety of going to millions of pilgrimages. That is the result of one smelling an incense that is offered to Lord Krishna. Also, there is a quote in the Shastras that if one wears a dress that has a smell of that incense, I mean, when we go to a temple, of course, over a period of time, we might become very casual in our approach. But if one stays for some time and smells the fragrance that comes out of the incense that is offered even here on this earthly planet, one becomes free from all the diseases because of the dress that one is wearing, which is carrying the fragrance of the incense. So we may wear a dress and go to the temple, and we may stay somewhere close to the altar. And if this incense, fragrance of the incense come to our dress which we are wearing, it is said that if we smell the dress also, one can become free from all the diseases. So that is how fragrance has got a lot of importance in all the living entities. There is also a quote in the Hari Bhakti Vilasa which states that if one offers Krishna an incense that is made, I mentioned the beginning of the class about what is dear to Krishna. Krishna, for him, to Krishna, two things are very important. One is Aguru and the other one is Chandan. Of course, Kasturi is also very dear to Krishna. But in this Hari Bhakti Vilas, there's a mention that if one offers to Krishna an incense that is made of this Aguru and Chandan, of course, it may not be very easily available in the earthly planet, the original one. But if one offers to Krishna an incense that is made out of these two ingredients, hundreds of his generations of the one who offers this to the Lord gets liberated. So from this, we can understand how important is fragrance to all the living entities. Before winding up, because there's not much of a purport in any of these slokas today. But before winding up, I would just like to narrate a pastime that is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita as to how when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Puri, he used to go to all the places doing nice kirtan. So there is a place called Jagannath Vallabh Garden where one time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to rest. And this Jagannath Vallabh Garden even today is very popularly known in Puri. And it has got a lot of nice flowers and fruits and all these in this garden. And Jagannath himself personally is offered flowers and fruits from this particular garden. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard the opulences of this garden, he came to this particular place and it is said that he rested for some time. So all of a sudden, Mahaprabhu saw Lord Krishna from a distance. And as soon as he ran towards Lord Krishna disappeared immediately. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is non-different from Krishna. But as soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ran towards Krishna disappeared. And then Mahaprabhu actually fell unconscious, as mentioned. So over a period of time, all of a sudden, because Krishna was present there, the fragrance that emanated from the body of Lord Krishna spread so vast, that Mahaprabhu got up from his unconscious state of affairs, immediately woke up smelling the fragrance that was there, because Krishna was present at that particular spot. So from this, one can understand how Krishna is very much related to fragrance, and all fragrant flowers, fragrant opulent fruits, fragrant items are offered to Krishna. And by offering to Krishna all these fragrant products, Krishna becomes very satisfied, and one becomes not only that one becomes liberated, but at the same time, many who are related to the one who is offering, they also become liberated from this cycle of birth and death. That is how Krishna's relationship with fragrance is. And because we are all part and parcel of Krishna, we also have that attraction to fragrance. But generally what happens is when we go to the temple, it becomes a formality over a period of time. But we must have that faith. And the first thing that we must try and do is that pick up a couple of flowers that are offered to the Lord and smell that fragrance for some time. Uh, if the pujari gives one flower, we should accept it with grace. Even otherwise, when the flowers are there, in all the temples, flowers are offered to attractive flowers are offered to Krishna. And if we smell those flowers offered to Krishna, then that fragrance itself is sufficient for living entities to get liberated from this material world. There are many quotes in the Nectar of Devotion also. But the ultimate thing is that one should try and every possible opportunity one should try to seize and smell flowers, fragrances that are like even in Narasimha Arati, we offer incense to Narasimhadev and they rub it on our palms. So we try to smell that for quite some time, and by constantly smelling these fragrances, it is said that a lot of purification takes place, which we may not realize, but it is a gradual process on which we must have faith. So that is why it is said that whenever one goes to a temple, one should try to smell the fragrance of the flowers or other items like scents, gandha, which is offered to the Lord. So I had very limited purport in these slokas today. I tried to get whatever possible. So there is a mention that even Kuvera has got an abode in his abode called Alakapuri. But that Alakapuri is different from that of what is there in Mount Kailash. And what is mentioned in this purport is actually Mount Kailash and not related to Kuveras. So Sati used to come and bathe in the Ganges river that comes through Mount Kailash. So with this, I come to the conclusion of the class for the day. If anybody has got any questions, any comments on the class, you can ask me.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. It was very informative. Prabhu, like we have the process, the procedure, like how, a person can go to Goloka Vrindavan Vaikunta. And we also see Bhagavatam, how devotees have become pure and they go back. So like that for Kailash Parvat, who actually goes? What is the qualification or procedure?
Okay. Where we are staying is called Devidam. That is managed by Durga Devi herself. Now, every demigod has got their own abode. Now, all the demigods have their own abode in the earthly planet. Lord Shiva mostly has followers who are of the type like ghosts and jinns. Not only that, but Lord Shiva himself has got many who are in the mode of ignorance. And Lord Shiva takes care of them in two ways. One is that one who becomes a devotee of Lord Shiva goes to the abode of Lord Shiva. But it is mentioned in the Shastras that Lord Shiva performs another role as a Vaishnava. That means Shastra says Vaishnavanam Yata Shambho. That means the topmost of the Vaishnavas. So those who have a desire but are not able to reach to Vaikuntha planet directly, so to them, they have a desire to reach Vaikuntha planet, but somehow they have a limitation. But to them, Lord Shiva can perform the role of a Vaishnava by giving him association. One can become purified and they can go to Vaikuntha planets. So these are opportunities that are available, but then it is not always so very easy to go from heavenly planets to Vaikuntha planets because, for example, if we go to many times when somebody goes to a foreign country and comes back, they don't want to come back to India because they say that those places are very beautiful, attractive, very clean, very well maintained. Similarly, even in the heavenly planets, those who go to heavenly planets, they are stuck in those heavenly planets, seeing the opulence of those planets. And from the description of the Mount Kailash, we see here, those who are followers of Lord Shiva, if they go to the planets, they get stuck there. So they may become followers of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, his abode is called Shiva Loka. This is beneath the Vaikuntha planets, where he has got his followers. So he performs two roles. One, he tries to take care of those in the mode of ignorance, even in the earthly planets. We will see that many of them believe in Lord Shiva. So he takes care of them. And those who are ardent followers, now I'm not much into the system of followers of Lord Shiva, but I can tell you that as far as Lord Krishna's worship is concerned or Narayana's worship is concerned, we must have unmotivated, uninterrupted service and faith in that devotional service to Lord Krishna and or any of his expansions. So similarly, those who worship Lord Shiva enter the abode of Kailash, which is known as Kailash. So this is a system. If somebody worships Lord Ganesha, he has got his abode in the earthly planets, they go to his abode. But not that they remain there eternally. All Shiva's abode does not have annihilation, but at the same time, his abode is not as comparable to the Vaikuntha planets. Vaikuntha planets are much more opulent, and living entities who go to Vaikuntha planet don't come back to the earthly planet. But Lord Shiva is also not free from the material modes. He being in charge of material mode of ignorance, it is said that he also can be carried away by the modes of ignorance. Am I clear, Mataji?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu, that was a good insight I got. Prabhu, I have one more question.
Yes, yes.
This Parijata flower, so I think we see it here, that yellow, sorry, that orange stem, that white flower, is that the one?
Yes, 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 yes.
So, Prabhu,
Yes.
like I also heard that from that Indra planet from Indralok, that Parijata flower plant was got to the earth.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you were also mentioning it is different, like what we find here to the one actually found in Kailash Parvat or
Yes.
I don't know,
Yes.
heavenly planets. So Prabhu, like I wanted to know, like why is it different? Like what is different, and the one that was got from Indralok, what is that like, if any?
All the living entities in the higher planetary systems, in fact, what we see in the earthly planet is a small reflection of what exists in the Vaikuntha planets. There is Parijata tree in the Vaikuntha planet. There is Parijata Rishi tree that is mentioned in the Kailash, Mount Kailash, and there is Parijata tree in the earthly planet also. All these living entities at the higher planetaries, they have a longer lifespan. They don't have disease. It is said that in the heavenly planets, there is no old age and there is no disease. So when they are about to leave their body, that's it. They live up to that and immediately they leave the body. They don't go through the suffering of old age and disease, etc., in the heavenly planets. So as we go higher and higher and higher, the opulent of it is not only the opulence externally that we see, but all the living entities have a longer lifespan and they are free from disease and old age. So that way, all the living entities are classified, and whatever we see, they are all just a minute, partial reflection of what exists in the spiritual world. So, on the higher planetary system, the qualities are definitely much higher and different than what is meant, what we see in this material world, earthly planet. So
Okay.
there is a Parijata tree in Indra's abode also. There is a Parijata tree in Mount Kailash also, and there are Parijata trees in the Vaikuntha planets also. So each one, all the living entities which I mentioned, they have got gradations. As we go higher and higher, their lifespan is longer, their opulence is much more.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you for the lovely class, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. Anybody else? Okay, thank you all very much. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.